If you love pasta, you are gonna love these recipes. And really, what's not to love about pasta? It's budget friendly and there are so many different things you can do with it. Hey y'all, I'm Valerie and welcome to my kitchen. In today's video, I'm sharing 5 of the best pasta recipes. They're all easy to make and so good. Okay y'all, let's get started. This first one is a Mexican chicken Alfredo and it takes less than 20 minutes to make. I'm gonna go ahead and get my pasta cooking, and I always try to salt my water. And you're gonna need 8 ounces of pasta. I'm using the Rotini, but you could really use any kind of pasta you want. You could use shells, the elbow pasta, or you could even use the bow ties. And just cook it up according to the box instructions. While that's cooking, over in a large skillet, I added a tablespoon of oil, along with about 3/4 of a pound of boneless, skinless chicken that I cut into bite-sized pieces. And I just tried to spread those out so they would cook a little more evenly. I seasoned that chicken with a little garlic powder and pepper. Now just toss that around until that chicken is completely cooked through. Next, I'm going to add in 1 packet of the taco seasoning, and just so you know, they do carry the taco seasoning in low sodium, just in case you're watching your salt. I forgot, but also add in 1 teaspoon of minced garlic. I just stirred that around until that chicken was completely coated in that seasoning. Then I added in 1 16-ounce jar of Alfredo sauce. And like I always say, feel free to make your own homemade sauce, but I'm taking the easy way out. I also added just a little bit of water to that jar just to make sure I got all that sauce out. Now stir that around, and you can go ahead and turn your heat down to about medium-low. I let it simmer for a few minutes. Then I added in about 1/3 of a cup of Parmesan cheese. I just used the kind in the green can. And 1.5 cups of shredded cheese. I used a combination of cheddar and mozzarella. But you could even use the Mexican blend here if you wanted. Now to finish it off, I'm adding in that 8 ounces of cooked and drained pasta. Just stir it around until that pasta is coated in that sauce and that cheese is completely melted. And I have to say, that sauce is amazing. And feel free to add some veggies in there. You could add in some steamed broccoli. I'm sure that would be really good. If you need dinner in a hurry, you gotta give this one a try. I topped it with a little more shredded cheese and had a buttered croissant roll on the side. And a side salad would be great with this, but I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you, I didn't have room for it. This was plenty. It was so good. This sheet pan lasagna turned out to be one of my favorite sheet pan meals. To begin, in a large skillet, I added a tablespoon of oil along with half a diced onion. I'll let that saute for just a few minutes just to soften it up a little bit. Next, I'm adding in 1 pound of Italian sausage. Now that's all the recipe called for, but I wanted to add in a little extra meat, so I added in 1/2 pound of ground beef. But that is totally optional. And I just broke that up and let it cook until everything was cooked through. And while that's cooking, over in a large pot, I added a 16-ounce box of lasagna noodles. I did break those up into about 2-inch pieces, but they do not have to be perfect. And I cooked those a little less than the package instructions, just because they'll continue to cook in the oven. And while those noodles are cooking away, I'm going back to that sausage and ground beef mixture. I did use a paper towel to get rid of that grease, then I added in 1 teaspoon of minced garlic. I'll let that cook for a minute just until that garlic becomes fragrant. Now to season this up, I added 2 teaspoons of Italian seasoning, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. Now you can go ahead and add in 24 ounces of your favorite marinara sauce. I stirred that around and I just felt like it needed a little more sauce, so I added in an 8-ounce can of tomato sauce. And y'all know, of course, we have to add cheese. So I'm adding in 1 cup of shredded mozzarella and half a cup of shredded Parmesan. Now stir that until it's all well combined. And I did let it simmer here for a little bit just while I drain the noodles. Now you can go ahead and add in those noodles. Give it a really good stir. Make sure all those noodles are covered in that sauce. Now you can remove it from the heat and we're going to head over to the counter. I've got my sheet pan ready. I've greased it very well. Now we can pour in that meat sauce and pasta mixture. I really love this recipe because it's a whole lot easier than trying to make traditional lasagna. You do want to make sure you spread it out into an even layer. So the recipe said to spoon over 1 cup of ricotta cheese, but we love cheese here, so I ended up using that whole 15-ounce container. And I used my cookie scoop, which made it a whole lot easier. Now over the top of that, I added about 3/4 cup of shredded Parmesan cheese and 2 cups of shredded mozzarella. You can cut back on that and it'll still be delicious, but we love cheese here, and if I'm gonna have lasagna, I really want it to be cheesy. Now to top it off, I sprinkled over a little Italian seasoning. By the way, if you're new, I'll have all the recipes either linked or typed out in the description box below. Now this bakes at 425 for 30 minutes, or until that top is nice and golden brown. My family went crazy over this one, and I'll definitely be making it again. If you love lasagna and hadn't tried it this way yet, you really need to. I think your family will love it. I'm excited to show you how I make my chicken spaghetti. I know there's a lot of different ways, but this is how my family likes it. I started out by boiling up 12 ounces of the angel hair pasta, or you can even use the thin spaghetti if you like that better. Make sure to only use 12 ounces though, and not the full box. And just cook that up according to the box instructions. While those are cooking, I headed over to the counter. In a large bowl, I added 1 can of cream of chicken soup. You're also going to add 1 can of cheddar cheese soup. If you can't find that, you can sub with another can of cream of chicken. I added a can of Rotel, and I didn't drain that. You're also going to add 1 cup of cottage cheese and half a cup of sour cream. And for the seasonings, I added about 1/4 teaspoon of pepper and about 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder. And I'm just giving that a good stir before I add in the rest. I added 4 cups of cooked shredded chicken. You could also use rotisserie chicken here. That would be really good. And I almost left something out. Do y'all do that? It'll be sitting right there on the counter in front of me, and I just totally look it over. And don't you just love it when you don't realize it until it's in the oven already? I've done that, and I've even had to take it out of the oven and pour it back into the mixing bowl to add what I forgot. Okay, I got that chicken mixture all mixed up. Now over in a greased 9 by 13 inch baking dish, I'm adding in that cooked and drained pasta. Try to spread that out into an even layer. Now I'm topping it with that chicken mixture. Make sure everything's covered, and I just try to kind of work it down into those noodles. By the way, if you're loving these easy recipes, I would really appreciate it if you would give me a thumbs up. And if you're not already subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That way you don't miss out on any of my future videos. Now to finish up this chicken spaghetti, I topped it with 2 cups of shredded cheddar cheese. Now this goes into the oven to bake at 350, uncovered, for about 40 minutes. And I did turn it on broil the last minute or so, just to get that top a little golden brown. I know there's a lot of different ways to make chicken spaghetti, but this is something I came up with, and I was pretty proud of it. because it's pretty delicious. I love it with the rotel in it. It does not make it spicy. And also, if you're not a fan of cottage cheese, trust me, you won't even know it's there. I really hope you give this one a try. I think your family will love it. This next one is one of my absolute favorites. It's a taco pasta salad. First, you're going to brown 1 pound of ground beef. I'm sure you could also use ground chicken or ground turkey. When that's completely cooked through, drain the grease. Then add in 1 packet of taco seasoning. Stir it up until everything is completely mixed together. Then you're going to remove it from the heat, set it aside, and then let it completely cool. And while I'm thinking about it, if you're enjoying this video, I would really appreciate it if you would give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. That way you don't miss out on any of my future videos. And that's 1 pound of the garden rotini pasta that I'm cooking up. You can use regular rotini for this. I just like using the garden kind just for the color. And just cook it according to the package directions. Rinse it with cold water, drain it, and then set it aside. Now we're going to make the dressing. In a large bowl, I added 1 cup of French dressing. You can definitely add more of this at the end if you feel like it needs it. I also added 1/4 cup of sour cream and 1 small diced tomato. Mix all that together. Now you're going to add in that cooked, drained, and cooled pasta, the taco meat, 1/2 a small head of iceberg shredded lettuce, and 1½ cups of shredded cheddar cheese. Now stir that, and it is easier if you use tongs for this, and that way you can just toss everything around. Now for a little crunch, you're going to add in 2 to 3 cups of crushed Doritos, or in my case, great value cheddar cheese tortilla chips. And you can add as much or as little as you like. Just keep in mind, you'll want to wait till right before you serve this to add in the lettuce and the chips. Now toss everything together, and then this pasta salad is ready to serve. You will not be disappointed with this one. It has so much flavor, and I love the added crunch from the chips. I also like to top it with green onions, but you totally can leave those out if you like. This is one of my favorite pasta salad recipes. It is absolutely delicious. My whole family loves it, and I think yours will too. And this one was a winner for sure. It's called Manly Cheesy Chicken Pasta. In a large skillet over medium heat, I added a tablespoon of oil, a tablespoon of butter, and 1/2 a diced onion. Just saute that until that onion is tender. Now I'm adding in about 1.5 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken that I cut into bite-sized pieces. Just stir that around and let it continue to cook until that chicken is no longer pink. Next, you're going to add in 2 teaspoons of minced garlic. Stir that around until that garlic becomes fragrant. Then I'm adding in 2 cups of chicken broth, 2 cups of water, 1 can of manwich. The recipe called for the bold variety, but I'm just using the original because that's what I had on hand. Now you're going to add in 3 cups of the penne pasta. I'm sure you can use something like rotini also. Just stir that around and make sure everything is submerged in that liquid. Then I brought it to a boil and let it simmer for 20 to 25 minutes. When that pasta is cooked through and it's tender, you're going to add in about 6 ounces of cubed Velveeta cheese and about a cup of shredded cheese. I stirred that around, and then I put the lid back on and let it continue to cook until that cheese was completely melted. And you may want to stir it a couple times just to make sure that pasta doesn't stick to the bottom. This was so cheesy and delicious, and I love the flavor of the manwich in there. I love these one-pot meals, and they're quick to make and perfect for those busy weeknights. If you need to make dinner in a hurry, but you still want something delicious, you have got to try this one. I really hope you enjoyed this video. you may also like these. Don't forget to subscribe down below for more easy recipes, and I will see you in the next one.